The Grand Council Hall floated above the capital world of Zero's Prime like a shining jewel in the dark. From a distance, it looked calm and peaceful, a giant silver ring slowly turning in orbit. Inside, however, it was loud, chaotic, and full of tension. Representatives from over 100 alien civilizations filled the great chamber. Tall, thin beings with silver skin argued with short, scaled creatures whose tails twitched in anger, feathers rustled, claws tapped on the metal floor. The air was thick with the sound of voices speaking in dozens of languages, translated instantly by floating translator drones. Today's meeting was supposed to be about trade routes and resource agreements, but as the debate grew heated, the council's high ceiling lights flickered once. Then again, no one noticed at first. Flickers happened sometimes in old stations, but then a sharp, low alarm rang through the hall. Not the alarm for fire, not the one for an accident. This was the unknown contact alarm. Every conversation stopped in the middle of the chamber. The great holographic sphere lit up. It showed a star map of the local system. At the very edge of the map, a single red dot had appeared. Unidentified object entering system. The station AI announced, its calm voice somehow making the tension worse. The red dot grew larger as the object moved closer to Zero's Prime. Its speed was steady, its course direct. "What ship is that?" a voice called from the far side of the room. "No transponder code detected," the AI replied. "Design does not match any known registry." The council members leaned forward in their seats. Some adjusted translator earpieces, making sure they had heard correctly. Unknown ships were rare. The galaxy's trade lanes were where every major species kept careful track of who traveled where. This was something new and unexpected. The sphere zoomed in. The object was a massive vessel, larger than any battleship in the Galactic Navy. Its hull was dark gray with strange lines across the surface. At first, those lines looked random. But then the AI focused the image, and the markings became clear. Across the side of the ship, in bold white letters, was a single word: humanity. A chill ran through the room. No one in the galaxy had ever seen a human before. The stories about them were little more than whispers. Some said they came from a distant, uncharted spiral arm. Others claimed they had destroyed their own worlds in endless wars. But all the stories had one thing in common. Humans were dangerous. The chamber filled with nervous murmurs. "Could be a warship," muttered Councillor Vriath. "A tall reptilian with blue scales. Look at the armor plating." "Or a colony ship," suggested Ambassador Juro, whose jelly-like body quivered. "Perhaps they come in peace." "No ship that size comes in peace," Vriath growled. The vessel moved slowly but with purpose, gliding through the void as if nothing could touch it. The AI reported its size again, 1.7 kilometers in length, twice the size of the largest dreadnought in the Galaxy. Council chair. Alan tapped a control on the arm of her seat, bringing up sensor data. "Energy readings are strange. Their reactor is powerful but shielded. Our scans cannot penetrate the hull." That, more than anything, unsettled the council. No ship could block their scanners completely, not unless it had technology far beyond theirs. Ambassador Juro's voice wavered. "They do not respond to hails." "Negative," the AI answered. No response. The warship drifted closer to Zero's Prime, its engines burning a deep, steady blue. The closer it came, the more details the council could see. Strange weapon mounts, smooth armor with no seams, and a bridge hidden deep inside the hull, invisible from the outside. One by one, the representatives began speaking again, this time in hushed, urgent tones. They could be preparing for an attack. We should scramble the fleet. No, if they are peaceful, they are not peaceful. Council Chair Allen raised her voice, cutting through the noise. Silence. The chamber fell quiet again. Everyone turned to her. This meeting is now an emergency session, she declared. We will decide our response before this vessel reaches the inner system. But even as she spoke, the AI's voice returned, colder this time. Warning. Unknown vessel has altered course. Direct approach to Zeros Prime confirmed. The holographic sphere zoomed in again, showing the warship's prow now pointed directly at the Council's homeworld. The ship's lights glowed faintly along its hull, giving the impression of a predator's eyes watching from the dark. Chair Allen's hands tightened on her seat. Have they armed weapons? Unknown, the AI said. Weapon systems are not recognizable. Recommend caution. Ambassador Juro's gelatinous form pulsed nervously. Chair Allen, what if they have come here for us? Then we must decide, Allen replied. Fight or speak. No one spoke for a moment. The silence inside the chamber was heavier than the alarms that had started all of this. Every alien in the room could feel the same thing. The weight of an approaching presence unlike anything they had ever faced. And still, the ship did not answer hails. As the warship crossed the outer orbit of Zeros Prime's third moon, the station's massive defense cannons rotated toward it. Energy hummed in the air. Shields rose around the council hall. Then, without warning, the warship slowed. Its engines dimmed. It stopped just outside the planet's defense perimeter. For a long minute, it hung there in space, completely still. Counselor Wright whispered the thought everyone else was already thinking. They are watching us. The AI confirmed the worst. Multiple sensor arrays from the unknown vessel are scanning this station. Do they mean to attack? Allen asked. No indication, the AI replied. No movement, no transmissions. They are silent. And so the warship stayed there, a giant unknown shadow in the sky, waiting. The galaxy's leaders sat frozen in their seats, not knowing whether the next sound they heard would be a message, or the end of everything they knew. The news traveled faster than light. By the time the human warship had been sitting motionless outside Zeros Prime for an hour, almost every major world in the galaxy had heard about it. Holonews channels interrupted. Regular broadcasts with urgent updates. Starport terminals displayed the same warning. Unknown vessel in core space, possible first contact. But no one was celebrating. In the crowded markets of the Trelon system, merchants whispered nervously between sales. It's a warship, one said. I saw the footage. The hull is thick enough to laugh at a torpedo. Others argued. Maybe it was a peaceful ship, just very large. But the images told a different story. Rows of hidden ports, possible weapons, and a design that seemed built for survival in the harshest battles. In the icy colonies of Verithfor, miners paused there. Work to watch grainy security feeds showing the warship's dark silhouette above Zeros Prime. One miner shook his head. No ship just parks outside your home unless it wants something, his friend replied, or unless it's waiting for you to make the wrong move. The rumors grew quickly. Some claimed the humans were survivors from a galaxy-wide war, now seeking new territory. Others swore the humans had weapons that could turn suns into cold stones. A few even whispered that the humans were not biological at all, that the crew was a machine intelligence, wearing the name humanity, like a ghost's mask. Meanwhile, in the command decks of military fleets, admirals and strategists argued furiously. Should they send warships to surround the human vessel? Should they prepare planetary evacuation? Or should they do nothing at all and pray the humans would simply leave? The Galactic Defense Network, a coalition that had never agreed on anything, without weeks of debate now, met in emergency HOLO-conference. Admiral Corvin, a massive armored insectoid, slammed his claw against the table. We cannot sit idle. This is a hostile force until proven otherwise. Hostile, replied Commander Relia, a tall avian with steel-grey feathers. They have not fired. They have not spoken. Perhaps they wish to open trade. Trade does not arrive in a vessel the size of a small moon, Corvin hissed. The discussion went in circles. For every voice calling for diplomacy, another demanded immediate military action. But all agreed on one point. No single species could stand against a ship like this. If the humans were enemies, the only chance would be to unite, and that had never happened in the history of the galaxy. Back on Zero's Prime, the Grand Council remained in session, trying to keep the growing panic under control. Messages flooded in from frightened colonies, smugglers, even pirate clans, all asking the same question: what do the humans want? Chair Allen studied the silent warship on the holographic display. It hadn't moved since stopping outside the defense perimeter. No signals, no transmissions, just there. Watching, she called for a private meeting with the Council's intelligence advisors. The reports were unsettling. Our long-range scans before they entered the system suggest the ship's armor is made from a composite we cannot replicate, said Chief Analyst Torval, a small, pale amphibian. It absorbs energy. Readings. Our most powerful sensors can barely outline its shape. And their weapons, Allen asked. We can only guess, Torval admitted, but based on power output readings, they could fire something devastating, more powerful than anything. In our fleets, Allen exhaled slowly. So, we have no idea what they want, no idea how strong they are, and no idea if we could stop them if they decided to destroy us. That is correct, Torval said softly. Outside the council chambers, ordinary citizens of Zero's Prime gathered in streets and observation domes to look up at the strange new shadow in their skies. Even from the planet's surface, the warship was visible, a dark shape gliding silently among the stars, faint lights marking its massive form. Children pointed and asked questions their parents couldn't answer. Traders worried that the humans would blockade trade routes. Some people packed bags, preparing to flee to outer systems. The silence from the warship was the worst part. A threat could be answered, a message could be replied to, but a quiet, waiting giant was something else entirely in deep space. Far from Zero's Prime, other species reacted in their own ways. The Keth Dominion ordered its fleets to full combat readiness. The Arvan League began reinforcing their border worlds. The mysterious Eldari Syndicate, a reclusive species rarely seen in public, simply vanished from all known systems, their ships retreating to uncharted space. On the shadowed moon of Zarlok, a gathering of smugglers and pirates listened. To the rumors, their leader, a scarred reptilian known as Black Talon, grinned. If the humans are as strong as they say, he told his crew, then the galaxy is about to change. We just have to make sure we change with it. Back on Zero's Prime, the Grand Council finally agreed to send a formal diplomatic hail. It was simple, direct, and carefully worded. We are the Grand Council of the Galactic Core. We request peaceful dialogue. Identify yourselves and state your intentions. The message was transmitted on every known frequency, in every major galactic language, repeated over and over for an entire day. The humans did not reply. Instead, on the second day, the warship's lights shifted. Small, glowing lines traced across its hull, pulsing like a heartbeat. Some believed it was a warning. Others thought it was simply a display of power. By the third day, the galaxy's news channels had stopped reporting trade, deals, political disputes, or sports results. Every broadcast was about the human warship. Every headline carried the same word: humanity, and still. No one knew what they wanted. In the council chamber, Chair Allen stared at the silent image of the ship. She had faced pirates, warlords, and even planetary revolts. But nothing had ever felt like this. Because this wasn't just the arrival of a stranger. This was a test, and everyone in the galaxy was holding their breath, waiting to see if they would pass or be destroyed. For 3 long days, the human warship floated in silence above Zero's prime. It had not moved. It had not fired. It had not spoken. And yet, the entire galaxy felt its presence like a shadow cast across every star. Every military fleet stayed on high alert. Every news broadcast kept the warship as its main headline. Even the smallest cargo haulers avoided the core routes, afraid to pass too close to the silent giant. Then, without warning, everything changed. It began with a low vibration. In the council chamber, the great holographic sphere flickered as static, washed over the defense network. Communications officers scrambled at their consoles. "Something is interfering with our long-range channels," one shouted. The AI's voice came next, sharper than usual. "Unknown vessel is emitting a broad-spectrum signal. All frequencies are being overridden." Chair Allen stood. "Is it a weapon?" "No," the AI replied. "It is a transmission." Across the planet, every screen, every communicator, and every holographic display went black. For a heartbeat, there was only silence. Then, slowly, an image appeared. It was not a flag, not a weapon, not a demand. It was the face of a human. The alien council had never seen one before. The being's skin was pale, the features sharp and symmetrical. Short hair, dark eyes that seemed to focus on whoever was watching. The human wore a uniform of black and silver, a single emblem on the chest, the same word painted on the warships. Hull, humanity. When the human spoke, the voice was deep, steady, and calm. "And in perfect galactic common, we come to speak. We come to warn." The words were simple, but the weight behind them made the entire chamber fall silent. The human continued. "Your galaxy is changing. Forces move in the dark beyond your borders. We have seen them. We have fought them. We know what comes." The camera view shifted. The human's image was replaced by a holographic star map, the familiar spiral of the galaxy, glowing in blues and greens. At its far edge, a black shape pulsed and spread like spilled ink. "This is the void," the voice said. "It does not trade. It does not speak. It consumes." The blackness expanded across the map, swallowing star systems, erasing light. "We fought it in our home," the human said. "We lost." The map zoomed out, showing an entire spiral arm gone, replaced by darkness. In the council chamber, some alien representatives shifted uncomfortably in their seats. Others stared without blinking. The human's voice grew sharper. "You do not have the strength to face it alone. Your fleets will burn. Your worlds will vanish. Your history will end. The image changed again, now showing alien warships being swallowed by waves of black energy. Worlds cracked and collapsed into dust. Whether these were real recordings or simulations, no one could tell, but the effect was the same: fear. The human's eyes returned to the screen. We are not here to conquer. We are here to prepare you. This war will reach you, whether you believe or not. For a long moment, there was only the sound of faint static. Then the human gave a final message: choose, stand with us, or stand alone. The void does not wait. The signal ended. Every screen returned to normal. The warship outside Zero's Prime went dark again, as if nothing had happened. But nothing was the same. In the streets of the capital, citizens argued about the meaning of the message. Some believed the humans were telling the truth, warning them of a real danger. Others thought it was a trick, a story meant to frighten the galaxy into joining a human-led empire. On the outer worlds, panic rose. Some colonies began building underground shelters. Others evacuated entirely, heading toward more heavily defended systems inside the council chamber. The debate was immediate and fierce. Councillor Vreeth slammed his clawed hand onto the table. It is a trap. They show us fear, so we will follow them. Ambassador Duro quivered, his gelatinous body rippling with uncertainty. And if it is not a trap, if the void is real, can we face it without them? Chair Allen listened without speaking. Her eyes stayed fixed on the holographic image of the warship, still holding its position like a silent sentinel. Chief Analyst Torval spoke quietly but firmly. Their technology is beyond ours. Their scans are better. Their ship is stronger. If the void is real, they might be the only ones who have faced it before. But they lost. Vreeth snapped. They admitted it themselves. Even so, Torval replied, they survived long enough to reach us. That makes them dangerous, but it also makes them valuable. The council chamber filled with voices. Again, but Allen raised her hand for silence. We must answer, she said, not with fear, not with anger, but with clarity. For the next hour, the council worked on a response. It would be diplomatic, cautious, and demand proof of the humans' claims. They would request to see the void for themselves, to confirm it was real. When the message was ready, they transmitted it directly to the human warship. The warship did not reply. Instead, its lights flared once more. A single beam of golden light extended from the ship toward the council station. Not a weapon, but a communication link. And then came the unexpected, an invitation. Select one vessel. Board us. See the truth. The message was short. The meaning was clear. The humans would allow them aboard. Gasps filled the chamber. No outsider had ever been allowed inside a ship of unknown origin, not without risk. Chair Allen turned to the gathered representatives. We asked for proof, she said. Now they offer it. Councillor Vereth bared his teeth. Or they lure us into their den. Perhaps, Allen replied. But if we refuse, we may never know whether the void is real. The decision was made. A delegation of the most trusted alien leaders would board the human warship, and the galaxy would watch and wait. The golden beam stretched from the human warship to the Grand Council station like a single thread of light in the dark. It was not a weapon. It did not burn or damage, but it demanded attention. Chair Allen stood before the great chamber. The humans have offered us entry to their vessel, she said. We will send a delegation, one ship only. representatives of the galaxy's most trusted nations. Her words were calm, but inside she felt the weight of the decision. No one knew what waited aboard that warship. It could be a trap, it could be salvation, or it could be something far stranger, preparing the delegation over the next 12 hours. The delegation was chosen. Councillor VF would represent the military interests, tall, scaled, and fierce. Ambassador Duro, the soft-bodied diplomat, would speak for the pacifists. 2 others joined, Admiral Corvin of the Defense Network, and Scholar Lyra of the Zarin Archives, whose knowledge of ancient history was unmatched. A single transport vessel was prepared. It was small, lightly armed, and painted white to signal peace. Its crew of 6 would be under strict orders. No sudden movements, no weapons drawn unless attacked. When the delegation stepped aboard, they felt the eyes of the entire galaxy watching. Millions were tuned to the live broadcast, hoping to glimpse the inside of the mysterious human warship. Crossing the gap, the transport left the station slowly, moving along the golden beam. Outside, the human vessel loomed larger with every second. Its dark hull was marked with the word humanity in bold white, the letters so tall they could be seen, even from kilometers away, up close. The armor looked almost alive. Strange patterns shimmered faintly, as if light bent unnaturally across the surface. No seams, no exposed joints, nothing to suggest where the panels ended or began. Councillor Vreeth muttered, "A hull like that could take a direct hit from our strongest weapons." Scholar Lyra didn't take her eyes off the ship, or hide. Something we can't yet imagine. The golden beam ended at a single, massive hangar door. Without a sound, the door began to open. A faint blue glow spilled into space. First steps inside the transport entered slowly. As soon as it passed the threshold, the hangar door closed behind them. The space was silent. No alarms, no defensive turrets. Only the hum of unseen machinery. The hangar was enormous. Its floor was a smooth, black surface that reflected light like water. Strange markings, not quite writing, not quite symbols, ran along the walls. At the far end, a group of humans stood waiting. They wore armor unlike anything the delegates had seen, black and silver, segmented like muscle, glowing faintly at the joints. Their helmets were smooth and opaque, hiding their faces. Only one figure was unmasked, a tall man with short dark hair, the same one from the broadcast. He stepped forward, his voice calm but carrying easily across the space. "Welcome aboard the warship Resolute. I am Captain Elias Rourke." The meeting approached slowly, his eyes scanning each delegate as if weighing their worth. "You asked for proof," he said. "We will give it. But you must understand, once you have seen it, you cannot unsee it, and you cannot walk away unchanged." Ambassador Duro's gelatinous form rippled nervously. "We are here in peace. We only wish to understand your message." Rourke gave a small nod. "Then follow me." 2 armored humans fell into step behind the delegation, not as threats, but as silent escorts. The passage, the group moved through wide corridors lined with glowing panels. The air smelled faintly of ozone, clean and sterile. The walls hummed softly, as though the entire ship was alive and breathing. No windows looked out into space, only occasional screens showing tactical maps, energy readouts, and unfamiliar star charts. Vreeth's eyes darted to one such screen. "Those coordinates, they're not in our databases." Rourke glanced back. "They will be, soon enough." They passed through a final doorway into a vast chamber that seemed to have no ceiling, only a swirling dome of holographic stars above. The galaxy stretched in every direction, breathtaking in its scale. The truth revealed. Rourke raised a hand, and the galaxy map changed. At its far edge, the black void appeared again, slowly spreading. "This," he said, "is the enemy." The delegates watched in silence as the void consumed star systems, erasing their light. The simulation zoomed in to show fleets fighting, alien ships, human ships, all falling into the darkness. No explosion, no debris, just nothing. It devours matter, energy, thought. "We call it the Devouring Dark," Rourke continued. "It is not alive in any way you would know, yet it hungers. It moves slowly, until it finds prey. Then it moves fast." Scholar Lyra's voice was a whisper. "How do you fight something that cannot be touched?" "You don't," Rourke said grimly. "You survive it, or you die." The warning Rourke's eyes swept the room. "We fought it on the edge of our home systems. We built weapons, fleets, alliances. It swallowed them all. We could not stop it, so we ran, not in cowardice, but in hope. Hope that somewhere, someone could help us stand against it." He paused, letting the silence settle. Double quotes now. "We believe that someone is here. Not one race, not one fleet, but all of you together. And we will teach you how to fight." Ambassador Juro shifted uncertainly. "And if we refuse?" Rourke's expression hardened. "Then when the Devouring Dark comes, you will not even have the chance to surrender." The choice, the holographic map faded, leaving only the dim glow of the chamber's lights. "This is why we are here," Rourke said. "Not to conquer, not to rule, but to prepare. We ask only that you listen, learn, and be ready when the darkness arrives." Tail flicked in agitation. "And if you are lying?" Rourke met his eyes without flinching. "Then we are the greatest liars in history, and you will lose nothing by hearing our truth." The delegates exchanged uneasy glances. They had come aboard expecting threats, perhaps demands. What they had found instead was a warning that shook them to their core. The meeting was over, but the real decision still waited. Would the galaxy trust the humans, or turn away? The chamber's holographic stars dimmed to black dot. Captain Rourke turned without a word and walked toward a tall sealed doorway at the far end of the room. The armored humans flanking the delegation followed, their movements precise and silent. "This way," Rourke said. "It's time to show you why you must prepare." No one spoke as they walked. The corridor ahead was narrower than before, its walls lined with strange, shifting patterns of light. Some looked like energy readouts. Others seemed more live, pulsing slowly like the beat of a heart. Ambassador Juro's gelatinous body trembled. "What is this place?" Rourke glanced over his shoulder. "One of our core data arteries. The ship itself is aware of our presence here." Councillor Vreeth muttered something under his breath, but fell silent when the lights along the walls seemed to ripple in answer. The viewing hall, the corridor, ended in a vast curved chamber. The floor was dark and polished, like black water. Above, there was no ceiling, only a dome of transparent material that looked out into the endless void of space. At first it seemed empty. Then a section of the floor rose slowly, revealing a circular platform surrounded by glowing rails. Rourke stepped onto the platform and motioned for the delegation to follow. "This is our observational array," he said. "It will not just show you what we've seen. It will let you feel it." The moment the delegates stepped onto the platform, a low hum filled the air. The dome above them came alive with light. The first vision, the galaxy, appeared round them. Not as a hologram this time, but as if they were floating inside it. Stars glimmered at arm's length. Worlds turned silently in the distance. Then a black ripple appeared at the far edge of the starfield. It was subtle at first, like a shadow moving across water. But it grew, and as it did, the stars it touched simply vanished. "This is what we faced," Rourke said, his voice low. The ripple became a tide. It swept through a cluster of stars, and entire systems blinked out of existence. No explosion, no flash, just emptiness, like they had never been there at all. "Scholar," Lyra gasped. "It erases them." "Not just matter," Rourke said. "Everything. History, memory, light, time, gone. The Devouring Dark does not destroy, it unmakes." The battle, replay the vision, shifted. Now they stood above a battlefield in space. Dozens of alien ships, some familiar, some unknown, moved in formation. Massive human warships were among them, their weapons glowing. "They came for us here," Rourke said. The Battle of Karath's Fall. The tide of darkness surged toward the fleets. Energy weapons fired in every direction. Beams, missiles, strange pulses of light. Some struck the black tide directly, but instead of damaging it, the shots simply vanished, swallowed whole. Alien cruisers tried to fall back. One was caught at the edge of the tide. In a heartbeat, it flickered and disappeared, as if it had never existed. The platform trembled under the delegates' feet, though they knew it was only an illusion. The tide rolled over human destroyers, turning them to nothing. The last stander, massive human battleship, larger even than the Resolute, moved to intercept. It unleashed a weapon unlike any the delegates had seen, a burning white sphere of energy that tore through the tide, forcing it to retreat for a brief moment. "That was our greatest weapon," Rourke said quietly. "We called it the Star Lance. It bought us exactly 6 minutes. The tide came back stronger. The battleship fought until its hull was cracked and bleeding light into space. Then it, too, was gone. The aftermath of vision dimmed. The battlefield faded, replaced by an image of a spiral arm of the galaxy where once there had been stars. There was only emptiness." Rourke stepped down from the platform. "That was the day we realized we could not win alone, and the day we began looking for others who could fight beside us." Ambassador Juro's voice quivered. "How do we fight? Something that cannot be touched." "You learn," Rourke said. "You adapt. You find what it fears." "And what does it fear?" Council of Wraith demanded. Rourke met his eyes. "That is why we are here. To teach you." The gift one of the armored humans approached, carrying a small silver case. They placed it on a table and opened it. Inside lay a strange, crystal-like device, glowing faintly from within. "This," Rourke explained, "is a shard from the edge of the void. We took it at great cost. It is the only piece of it we have ever recovered and survived to tell about." Scholar Lyra stepped forward, her eyes wide. "You touched it." "Not directly," Rourke said. "Our weapons tore it away before. It could dissolve. It is inert now, safe for study. But if you wish to survive what is coming, you must understand your enemy." The choice grows heavier. The delegates stood in silence. The demonstration had stripped away much of their doubt. The void was real. The threat was real. And the humans had been fighting it for longer than anyone else alive. Asterisk. but trusting them still carried danger. The warship Resolute was powerful enough to destroy any single fleet in the galaxy. What if this alliance was only a step toward control? Rourke seemed to read their thoughts. "You don't have to trust us now," he said. "But you will have to trust us when the void arrives. And it will arrive." The golden beam to the Grand Council station reappeared, brighter than before. "Return to your people," Rourke told them. "Show them what you've seen. Decide quickly. The dark does not wait for politics." The golden beam hummed softly as it reconnected the Resolute to the Grand Council station. The delegates stood at the edge of the hangar, their minds still full of the visions they had seen. Entire systems erased, fleets swallowed, a darkness that left nothing behind. Captain Rourke stood with his arms crossed, his eyes scanning each of them. "You have seen the truth," he said. "Now you must decide how to face it." Reith's tail twitched restlessly. "You speak as if we have no choice." Rourke's gaze didn't waver. "You don't. The void doesn't ask for your opinion. It doesn't negotiate. You either prepare or you vanish." The final statement before the delegates could respond. The hangar lights dimmed and the ship's AI voice filled the space. "Transmission alignment complete. All primary channels open." Rourke tapped his wrist device. "Every world in the core will hear this," he said. "Every leader, every citizen. There will be no misunderstanding." The walls of the hangar lit up with the projection of the human captain's face. Across the galaxy, on ships, space stations, and planets, the same image appeared. His voice was calm, but each word carried weight. "We are humanity. We come from beyond your charts, from the edge where your maps fade into shadow. We have fought something older than your civilizations, something you cannot imagine until it is upon you." Images appeared alongside his words, fragments of the void, burning battleships, broken worlds. "We call it the Devouring Dark. It does not conquer, it does not rule, it erases, and it is moving toward you now. A promise and a threat. We did not come here to rule your stars," Rourke continued. "We came here because we refuse to watch another galaxy fall. But understand this, if you ignore our warning, we will not beg you. We will fight with whoever stands ready, and when the void arrives, those who chose to hide will die first." The bluntness of the words caused ripples of outrage on dozens of worlds. But fear ran deeper than anger, and millions listened in silence. "Your ships are fast, but not fast enough. Your weapons are strong, but not strong enough. We will teach you how to survive, not because you are ready, but because you must be ready." The broadcast ended. Debate in the council when the delegates returned to the Grand Council station. The chamber was already full. The moment the doors opened, voices erupted. "They insult us," shouted a delegate from the Keth Dominion. "They saved us," countered a representative from the Verith colonies. "They scare us, so we'll obey," growled another. Chair Allen struck her gavel against the podium. "Order." The shouting faded, but the air was still hot with tension. Allen looked to the returning delegates. "You have seen what no one else has seen. Speak." Scholar Lyra stepped forward. "It was no trick. The void is real. I felt it. I saw what it can do. If we face it unprepared, we will lose everything." Ambassador Jurue's form rippled in agreement. They could be lying about their motives, but not about the threat. No one invents something so perfectly empty. Verith crossed his arms. "And yet, if we let them lead, we hand them our fleets, our resources. We may win the war, only to lose our freedom." Galactic reactions crossed the galaxy. The message sparked chaos. In the great plazas of Zero's Prime, Citizens gathered in massive crowds, arguing in the streets. Some shouted for unity with the humans. Others warned against trusting outsiders. In the mining colonies of the Outer Rim, work halted as crews watched the replay of the void consuming stars. "If that thing's real," one miner said, "we'll be dust before we even see it coming." On military worlds, fleet commanders began running new drills, altering formations based on human tactics shown in the transmission. Private warnings that night. In her private office, Chair Allen received a direct, encrypted message. The sender's identity was hidden, but the voice was unmistakable: Captain Rourke. "You will face pressure from your own people to ignore us. Some will call us liars, others will fear our strength. But listen carefully. Chair Allen, we are not your enemy. The Devouring Dark is, and it will not wait for your politics to settle." His tone shifted, lower, almost personal. "When it comes, it will be fast. I suggest you have an answer ready long before the first star disappears." The message ended without a signal tag. The split decision days passed. Some worlds voted to join the humans immediately, offering ships and soldiers. Others demanded proof, real proof, beyond the visions. A few refused entirely, claiming the void was an elaborate human myth. The Council could not reach a united decision, and the humans had made it clear there would be no endless debate. Allen sat at the central podium, looking over the chamber. "We are out of time," she said quietly. The human moved that same day. The Resolute shifted position for the first time since its arrival. It moved into high orbit over Zero's prime, its massive silhouette blotting out sections of the sky. No weapons were raised, but the message was clear. "We are here, and we are watching." In the council chamber, Vieth leaned toward Allen. "That's not a warship waiting for an answer. That's a warship waiting for a reason." Allen didn't answer. She was too busy wondering if the humans already knew the council would fail to agree, and were ready to move without them. The quiet before the storm the galaxy had been given its warning. Some believed it, some mocked it, some feared it enough to act. But in the darkness beyond the outermost stars, something stirred. Something older than every civilization in the core. And it was moving closer. Humanity's warning had been given. The next move would belong to the void.